Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here to introduce to you a film that just looks terrific. I can't wait to see this. It is Hotel Transylvania, brought to you by Sony Pictures Animation. It's going to be in theaters everywhere September the 28th. We are here to talk to the folks responsible for that film, producer Michelle Murdocca and director Genndy Tartakovsky. Oh, here they are now. I was going to introduce you. Ladies and gentlemen, Genndy Tartakovsky and our producer Michelle Murdocca. I would have given you a much more impressive introduction had I known.
They pushed me out.
Michelle, how long have you been involved with working on Hotel Transylvania? What's the origin of the film?
Well, we acquired the project about 10 years ago at Sony Pictures Animation at the inception of the company, and I was loosely involved early on, and for the past 6.5 years, really much more hands-on.
Genndy, when did you get on board?
I came on board about a year and a half ago.
What was it about the project that drew you to it?
I think for me, it was the idea of Dracula and kind of reimagining Dracula for, kind of a new generation in a classic sense. That at the same time, I always grew up with not the scary versions of the monsters, but the Abbott and Costello and Frankenstein versions of them. And so for me, it was a great opportunity to have another comedic take on Dracula. And then also, the most appealing is Dracula as a dad.
Talk a little bit about the relationship between Dracula and his daughter Mavis.
Well, Drax super overprotective because he's Dracula, and at the same time, he's got a teenage daughter of 118, and she, just as all teenagers, they kind of want to go out and see for themselves how the world is, and so the story kind of unfolds as Dracula knows that the humanity is bad and they hate monsters, and she kind of wants to see for herself.
As you were designing the characters, it looks like we've got all the major monsters in this film. How did you decide on the look, on the take of each character?
I think, like we started, there was different designers involved, and everybody started to kind of take the cues of the icons of the classic monsters. And then we wanted to push and pull them so much that they're kind of, our own point of view. At the same time, you also want to be kind of respectful of what's come before you. So we always, maybe sometimes pushed it too far and then kind of brought it back. And then once we started to take all these, and all the kind of the drawings from the different people look different, but once we put them into the CG world, it kind of really unified them into one look.
Michelle, can you talk about the cast a little bit? It looks like there's an all-star comedy lineup in there.
Yeah, we have an excellent cast. We've got Adam Sandler as Dracula. See him up there. Yeah. We have Selena Gomez as Mavis, in her Bat form and her Mavis form. We have Andy Samberg as Johnny. And also, he's Johnny Stein as his Frankenstein monster costume. We've got Frankenstein, and he's played by Kevin James. Really fun. He's awesome. And his wife, Eunice, who is Fran Drescher. And we have Wayne the Werewolf, who's played by Steve Buscemi. He is, yeah. And he is absolutely hilarious and, one of our favorite fun characters.
Wayne's wife is Wanda, and they're pups, and she's always pregnant, and they've lost count of how many litters they've had. So she's played by Molly Shannon. Yeah. And then we've got Murray the Mummy, played by CeeLo Green.
And CeeLo is awesome. Like, as an actor, singer, he's really great and fun and obviously larger than life.
That's an interesting choice, CeeLo Green. It wouldn't have sprung to mind automatically. How did that come about?
Well, we knew we were going to have a couple of musical numbers in the movie, and who better to play the mummy but CeeLo. And he just seemed really appropriate and kind of embodied the character, and it was great casting. He came in and he just hit it. He also came on the same day as those guys, just a little bit later. So he and Adam were together for a while during their recording
Did you
session.
record a lot of the dialogue together with the cast, as opposed to some animation where they just send the actors in to do it on their own?
We tried to. We tried to whenever schedules would permit.
Yeah, we definitely had 2 or 3 sessions where a lot of people were there, and then after that, all the schedules kind of exploded, and we went on our own. But then initially, it was great.
Yeah, and Adam would try and show up to all the recording sessions that he could. So it was fun.
And then last but not least, we have Quasimodo, the chef of the hotel, played by John Lovitz.
Yeah.
I know, and John was amazing. He kind of like strolls into the room, and he's got his little soccer jersey and soccer shorts with his little dog.
Dog to match.
And he kind of like scans everybody, and then he's just instantly funny. And it's like one of the great experiences working with all these great comedians is how seriously they take comedy. And it's like they're craftsmen, and comedy is their craft. And you'd think there would be a lot of ad-libbing, but there really wasn't, because once they wrote something that they liked, the line, they would keep doing it until they got a laugh, until they found that rhythm and the pattern of reading the line. And it was really impressive, because I thought they would just do the line and do 10 different versions of it, but they were...
No, they're all about perfecting the joke.
Yeah.
Really, really getting it to work, really getting the joke to sing.
You were talking a little bit earlier, Genndy, and I'd like to go further on this, about your influences when making this film. You mentioned some of the early Warner Brothers cartoons and Abbott and Costello, Meet the Wolfman, that kind of stuff. What things influenced you for this film in general?
I mean, really, it's, for me, Take Savory, Bob Clampett, the Warner Brothers cartoons, it's had the energy, and the animation, and the animation was fun, and I feel like a lot of feature animation is really grounded in traditional ideas and the way they animate. And I really wanted to break out, and the word cartoony in feature animation is sometimes like a taboo word. And I really felt like you could still do a cartoony feature and have this great energy and still have a strong emotional core underneath it. And so that was the influence, to really push the animators beyond. And it was really, the beginning was really rough, because everybody's been doing the same thing essentially for a lot of years. So I was like, no, let's stretch that arm. Let's make the head really big here. Let's make it, really pop. And once they got a hold of it, it was amazing. Like I never even thought you could do it in CG, because you basically have this puppet, and then you're kind of stuck within a range. And then, they broke the puppet, they changed it, and I don't even know how they did it, but it was great. James Crossley, the animation supervisor, and Daniel Kramer, the visual effects soup, they really put it together and made my job really easy. I could just push them to this, horrific degree for them, and then, they made the computer follow.